So hello, how are we doing? And welcome to another episode of Lorekeepers. I believe this is our 5th episode. I'm Darth Sebius, as always, and joining me for Magic the Gathering collectible card game episode is Sean. How you doing, buddy?
I'm not too bad, considering the time.
Yeah, what time is it again for you guys in Australia?
It is just ticked over 2 AM on Friday the 26th of July 2013.
You heard it here first, folks. This man is coming to us live from the future. And we're sending in apologies from Brett, who usually joins us. Unfortunately, he's having internet issues, so he can't be with us this week, but will hopefully be joining us next week, so that'll be awesome stuff. And today we're going to be talking about Planeswalkers and planes and all that good stuff that we didn't quite get the time to talk about last time. So let's get going with that. So there's a nice little picture of Ajani there, but we'll talk about Planeswalkers. So Planeswalkers are among the most powerful beings in the multiverse, and they are the thematic identities of the players in the game. Planeswalkers can be born at random chance in any sentient race. Any given sentient natural being will be born with the Planeswalker spark. It's always very random and always very possible. When a being is put through a period of extreme stress, in many cases death, which generally is quite stressful, that can spark the trigger, causing an individual to ascend and become a Planeswalker. Within the game, each player is supposed to be a Planeswalker, and the point is emphasised with the current marketing strategy, because all you have to do is pick up an intro deck, and boom, you're a Planeswalker. So there are millions upon our own plane, but there are 1 in a million everywhere else. So, do you have anything you wanted to add on the general overview of the Planeswalkers as a whole?
No. Just the way that Wizards really does their marketing is the very few non-humanoid Planeswalkers. You don't really hear of merfolk Planeswalkers or troll or minotaur Planeswalkers. It's always very human Planeswalkers.
Okay, but we are also going to destroy that by the first one we actually talk about when we talk about them. But we'll get to that in a moment. But I do see what you mean. Most of them are people, and also because I find it very interesting that when people win competitions and stuff, there are the cards of actual people. So in that way, could you ever become a Planeswalker that way, like an actual Planeswalker, or is it only just card art?
I think you could.
That'd be exciting.
I guess you could.
Okie dokie. Right. Well, I should move us to the mending, and we can go into that a bit. So the mending, or the Great Mending, was a process that began with when Jessica sealed the last major rift in Eteria. It caused all the remaining fractures to heal, first in Dominaria, then spreading out through the multiverse in a chain reaction. The mending allowed mana to flow freely throughout the Dominaria once more, returning life and hope to the dying world. And also, as I said, if you want to jump in at any point, just please do.
Yeah, the mending is when the brothers, which we talked about in the last show, when he set off the Golgothian Silex, he made a shard within the multiverse, which is a multitude of universes, effectively. As a shard that separated Dominaria and 12 other planes. From the rest of the multiverse. It is described as like big ice walls, and when Jessica used this giant spell to heal it, it basically broke down those walls and allowed all the planes to be linked up together again.
Okay, and then they were all linked originally before the whole Okay. So that happened, and after the mending, the multiverse found new balance with the Planeswalker spark. Reaching the consequences, Planeswalkers lost their immortality and godlike powers, and much of their additional magical power. So the mending changed the nature of the Planeswalker spark. Post-mending, the Planeswalker was simply had the ability to travel between the planes, nothing more, nothing less. A wizard who was a Planeswalker is not necessarily a more powerful wizard, but with the fact that they can travel around and learn lots of things, come across more animals of magic and mana and all that stuff, there's a good chance they should be more potent and more epic, but not just because they're a Planeswalker. I think you had a few specific words you had for the post-mending Planeswalkers.
Yeah, post-mending Planeswalkers are nothing but mewling quims in comparison to the pre-mending Planeswalkers. It's like having a race between a 4-year-old and Usain Bolt. It's just ridiculous, the comparisons.
Well, what if you fitted rockets to the 4-year-old? That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, mewling quims, like I said, they're fully epic before. They're basically gods, and they just were steadily getting more and more powerful as time went on before the mending. And is that because the mana was stagnating, or like what? Do you understand why they were just getting more powerful by the day?
It was for balance reasons more than anything.
Okay.
Within the lore, the Planeswalkers, once you became a Planeswalker, you basically was God. I mean, hell, Urza, alive for 1,500 years, give or take, a couple of hundred, had his head removed and he was still alive. I mean, all his conscience was contained within the Might Stone, the Weak Stone that was his eyes. And so to prevent great stories that just float on over generations, I think they just nerfed them pretty much, just so they weren't...
So it's like a big plot device, basically, really.
Yeah.
We're bored of these guys. Oh, something massive's happened. It just gets end of the world, sort of thing. Okay, fair enough. And then that sweeps out like the guys you mentioned before, and all those crazy dudes. And that leads us rather smoothly into the main bunch that there currently are. Now, we're not going to get into absolutely everyone because they're not all that necessarily exciting. They've all got their own stories, but we're going to go through some of the main dudes that are the dudes in the Planeswalkers people. So, we showed them a little bit earlier. We have Ajani Goldmane, which is the slightly more...
Pure white.
Yeah, slightly pure white.
In terms of colour. Magic colour. It's pure white. Mage.
Indeed. So the Planeswalker wields white magic, as we said. He is specifically the mage of purification of the body and soul. Spells that heal and strengthen his enemies, and spells that evoke the inner spiritual essence of others. Ajani Goldmane is torn between his Leonin ferocity, because he is a proud Leonin, not a human being. Although many that follow will be human beings, but he has to choose between his Leonian ferocity and his sense of justice. He was born an outcast with his own family, an albino Leonin, never accepted by the rest of his pride. The only person who cared about him was his brother Jazel, the leader of the Pride and Ajani's inspiration. Ajani had always shown potential as a mage and healer, but he assumed that his main calling was to be a warrior in Jazel's service. The day Ajani's brother was assassinated by unknown forces was the day Ajani's Planeswalker spark ignited, and everything changed. No longer could Ajani worry about his tiny problems of social acceptance. He had a quest to discover his brother's killer and led him to a triangle of intrigue woven by mysterious forces, forcing him to broaden his skills as a warrior and unlock new potential within himself. He now teeters on the edge between principles of justice and bloody revenge as everything he once knew crumbles around him. Now, that's fairly epic. Like before we move on to his sort of more vengeant form, is there anything you kind of want to get into about Ajani?
This starts everything went as planned, Zench-esque plot started by Nicol Bolas. He's, I think, the only Planeswalker who was a Planeswalker before the... No, that's a lie. He's one of two Planeswalkers that I'm aware of that were Planeswalkers both pre- and post-mending. And after the mending, Nicol Bolas lost a lot of his power. And Nicol Bolas is basically going around activating all these Planeswalker sparks to bring out the most powerful, and basically he wants to steal their power.
So a bit of a kind of, like I said, like a Tezzeret conspiracy to bring it all together, and then some kind of like Highlander type-esque thing so he can take their power away.
Yeah, there can only be one.
You can't say it like that. You have to say, there can only be one!
Yeah, it can only be one.
So yeah, That's him. And we're going to get into Nicol Bolas a little bit more, but I just wonder if there's anything particularly about Goldmane. So you saying Nicol Bolas is the one that killed the brother? Did we not tell him?
Yeah, the webcomic, it's kind of implied that Nicol Bolas, like someone working for Bolas, assassinated his brother.
Awesome scenes. Well, yeah, someone get us Ajani's phone number. We can calm him down a bit and send him like specifically where he needs to be. So and make him even more vengeant than he is now. So Ajani Vengeant is the you can tell he's Ajani Vengeant because this time he's shirtless and there's blood on his blade. He's angry. Yeah, he's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. He didn't go green, unfortunately, but he did find himself a forest.
Oh, I guess Naya's splash green. That works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll give you that. So Ajani Goldmane is Planeswalker who was Ajani Vengeant, is the Planeswalker who was both white and red magic. His new focus of magic is vengeance, spells that punish wrongdoers and lay waste to his enemies. Ajani's rage has been unleashed, tempted to shed the pretense of principles and justice. Ajani now thrashes his way through secret after secret in pursuit of the identity of his brother's killer, which we're trying to tell him now. It was probably Nicol Bolas.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah. We're not entirely sure, but yeah. His pride, bereft of their leader, was shocked. Leader and shocked by the violence surrounding Giselle's death, has been scattered all over Nalaar. Ajani's abilities, which we will talk about Nalaar a bit later. Ajani's abilities as a Planeswalker blossomed during the trip to Jund, during which he encountered the Shaman and fought the dragon worshipper Sarkhan Vol. Sarkhan helped Ajani turn Sarkhan helped Ajani turn his sense of vengeance into a fiery new power, unlocking a torrent of red magic in a volcanic ritual. Ajani now returns to Naya that seems alien to him. His family rejects him, utterly to the mystery of Giselle's murder still eludes him, and ever darker threats that will soon make themselves known. Dun dun dun. It all sounds like it's all going swimmingly for the lovely chap.
Yes.
Happy days.
Everything's going according to plan.
Well, if you are this chap anyway. So we've got... There he is.
Yep.
Nicol Bolas, who kind of sounds like a... I don't know, like a Russian KGB agent with a single testicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nicol Bolas. So yes, it's all his machinations. But before we move on to his machinations, did you want to come with anything more about the Vengeant Ajani? He seems more fun now that he's a bit more angry.
Other than Sarkhan Vol being a agent of Bolas, whether he or not he likes it, he is dragon worshipper Sarkhan Vol. Nicol Bolas is one of the oldest dragons.
Yeah, and we will
older dragon Tyrant of Worlds. Yep.
And we will get into Sarkhan as well a little bit more because he's a bit of a mad one himself.
Yes, but he's an agent of Bolas. So again, links back to the Zintian-esque plot. Nicol Bolas, everything is going as planned.
just rubbing his wingtips together. It's all coming according to plan. So,
yes, Nicol Bolas. Thank you, Van. Nicol Bolas.
Nicol. So, is an ancient red dragon, ancient dragon whose knowledge of the multiverse is matched only by the depths of his evil. He's a Planeswalker, an Elder Dragon, Tyrant of Worlds. He's Nicol Bolas is one of the oldest known beings in the multiverse. He has lived for many millennia. His malevolence is matched only by his boundless intellect. And Nicholas has survived multiple wars, cataclysms, and rivalries. The Dragon War that left only 5 of the Elders alive. The destruction of the Madaran Empire on Dominaria at the hands of Tetsuo Umizawa?
I don't know him.
This is crazy. And
that guy.
That guy, he's one of those guys. And epic duels with the Planeswalkers, Leshrac and Tezzeret. He also survived the Mending, which is hugely epic, and still managed to be epically huge after it, which is kind of an interesting point, because no one else is as epic as he is still. So yeah, which actually even killed a bunch of Planeswalkers, but he's carried on. He left Dominaria and it crumbled in the time before the Mending, implying that it couldn't be saved. He said, "I have prepared a suitable place for myself in that eventuality. And like you said, as he sodded off through the Talon gates. In fact, Bolas had already been working his plot for the next scheme for power, his suitable place, as it were, the 5 shards of Nalaar, which we'll talk about again in a bit more. Bolas had been watching them for decades, and long ago he began to recruit agents on all the shards. Ooh, one of his shards could have been, agents could have been the guy who killed Ajani's brother. Individuals and entire groups who would secretly do his bidding on the shards. These agents have secretly sown the seeds of dissent on each shard, creating chaos and conflict. Why? Well, he is just Tezzeret, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, yes.
So Nicol Bolas only knows the truth that the shards of Nalaar are slowly converging and will become one again, leading to epic amounts of mana and power that he will be able to exploit. And yeah, so basically he's just like good times waiting for that to happen, and will become even more epic and scary. So the dragon form of Tezzeret, essentially. Is there anything you want to get into, particularly about Nicol Bolas?
It says he was battling Planeswalkers Leshrac and Teferi. Leshrac, Planeswalker trapped inside the shard, which I talked about before, which was created with the at the end of the Brothers' War during the Ice Age. I believe he was on one of the shards of he's on Chandra. Different plane altogether. And Teferi was actually someone who studied under Urza post pre-Phyrexian invasion of Dominaria.
Okay.
So Nicol Bolas has been around for a damned long time.
So what was he doing when? Well, like, do we know what he was up to during when Yawgmoth's doing all his crazy stuff? Like,
Zench does as Zench wants, I guess. It's not really explained.
He's somewhere writing the biggest to-do list in all of eternity, essentially.
I'm just looking through his thing on the Magic Wiki, and there's pardon again. Sorry. Yeah, he wasn't really doing anything.
Okay.
Just during that time. It's not that was.
Just sat hiring for the things he would be up to in the future.
Yep.
Essentially, yeah. And as Vundagamar just said on the to-do list: 1. Gather unlimited power and mana. 2. Throw an epic birthday party.
It would be a damn good birthday party. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is very true.
Just here that I know something. After post-mending. It says, okay, so although the multiverse survived, Jessica's mending spell changed the nature of the Planeswalker spark. Bolas, like all other quote-unquote old Planeswalkers who survived past the mending, lost a significant portion of his powers. Still, he retained the formidable powers of an Elder Dragon as well as his unmatched intellect. So he's still really smart, and he's still an Elder Dragon. There's 5 of them, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So
then after the mending, Bolas lost the ability to retain much of his 25,000 years worth of arcane knowledge.
So he struggled to.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he's a dragon and one of the Elder Dragons is the thing that's kind of keeping him quite so epic, even though when his Planeswalker stuff stopped being quite so epic. Because if you're already an Elder Dragon, you're already pretty epic before you even become a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome scenes. So that brings us on to, we've got Jace and Chandra. So we'll get into Jace first, who is the blue chappy there. So Jace Beleren is a young but broody prodigy of a mind-manipulating magic. He's the Planeswalker who wields blue magic. His speciality is mental magic, spells of mind-reading, illusion, knowledge, and deception. Curiosity has always gotten the better of Jace Beleren. As a magical prodigy, he delved into lessons of sorcery deeper than any other students in mage academies, and succeeded to the point that even his instructors were suspicious of him. As a specialist in mind magic, he uses abilities to gaze into the minds of others, discovering even closely guarded secrets. This practice has led him into danger more than once. In fact, his mind magic has helped him discover the existence of planeswalkers and worlds beyond his own, opening his eyes to an even greater scope of secrets. So now that Jace's own Planeswalker spark has ignited, his curiosity has begun to take him deep into the blind eternities, which is the space between all the planes, the chaotic void that holds all the planes of the multiverse. Jace has finally found a milieu vast enough to satisfy his thirst for knowledge. Jace now faces the same problem of every exceptional being, the temptations of power. His skills in illusion, mind reading, and even memory modification have flourished during his travels, and they've helped him gain even broader access to the secrets he craves. Jace's travels have taken him back to Ravnica, which we'll get into a bit more later, where he once honed his abilities as a mind mage while working for the interplanar organisation called the Infinite Consortium. Now that Jace has returned, the 10 guilds have returned to prominence. Again, we'll get into those a bit later, and guild intrigue has reached new heights. Jace suspects a deep conspiracy involving the dragon Niz Mizzet. Dragons love their conspiracies. A plot that leads secrets so dangerous that Jace's mind magic might get him into even more trouble than it's worth. So, Jace, crazy mind. The mind fucker. The mind taker. He's like Mentok.
He is.
Yeah.
And to quote some very beefy men in armour, fear not the psyker.
We do like our beefy men in armour.
Just the chat with Van as great. But Jace, one of those people that will get under your skin and inside your brain and get out of my head, Xavier. He's he's probably one of the first he's the first planeswalker I ever got, like in the cards. Yeah, he's the first one I ever got.
So how like, do you want to talk about how that form of him played and like how that kind of relates to his actual character and stuff?
It's just controlling what your opponents have. What's mostly by milling. Like if they have no cards in their deck, then they can't play what they need.
Yeah.
Something about Jace Beleren though. He and Chandra also link with. Jace has a direct link with Garruk and Tezzeret, and Jace and Chandra have a direct link to Sarkhan. Yeah, Sarkhan Vol and Nicol Bolas. So it's everything's going as planned. It's all looping back to the big elder dragon.
Good times. So it's all Bolas' machination. So even Jace is being machinized. If machinized is even the word.
I think Jace might be aware, like in some distant part of his mind, but he's so wrapped up in his idea of Ravnica. Because it's his home plane. Yeah. So, it's his focus at the moment more than anything, I guess.
Back to make it beefy, yeah.
Yeah.
Also scenes,
but also get out of my head, Xavier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't get me started on Xavier because he seems like such a nice chap. He does some stupid things later on, but that's for another Lorekeepers another day. So his kind of opposite colour to blue is red, and you have Chandra and Nalaar, a pyromancer who has big problems with authority. Don't we all? Chandra Nalaar is a red magic wielding planeswalker. His speciality is pyromancy, spells of fire, and more fire. So if you're going to have a fight with him, make sure you bring Fireman Sam along with you. So yeah, there is no virtue in subtlety, at least not as far as Fire Mage Chandra Nalaar is concerned. Impulsive, passionate, short-tempered, she is ready to explode as the pyromantic spells of her ever-growing repertoire. Chandra's spark ignited when she was still very young, and she has grown. So have abilities that she wields fire magic as a planeswalker. As a source of immense and unpredictable power, authority figures have sought to restrict and control Chandra, which comes into direct conflict with her need for independence and freedom. Don't try and tell her what to do. She gets quite angry. As Chandra's wild inner fire comes into contact with world after world of rules and strictures, the results are sure to be explosive. And Vandigmar again is pointing out, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but Chandra, she what element does she use? Is it fire? I think she uses fire.
I think it was water. I think you mentioned water.
Sorry, water. Yeah. She's
a water mage.
Yeah, Chandra, she likes the fire. So does she like your fire? To quote take that?
No, but she releases the Eldrazi back into out of captivity, which is never a good thing. I guess that's what we'll do the next talk about is Chandra and the Eldrazi.
Okay.
Because that's also a big part of what's happening with this lot. But what was
Fire?
The brief overview. Eye of Ugin. Pardon. Okay. When it loads up, Ugin or Ugin was a spirit dragon with a deep understanding of colorless magic. And he was one of the 3 planeswalkers that lured the Eldrazi into Zendikar, and imprisoned them within the Eye of Ugin, which is a Hedron thing. It locked them away. I don't understand.
So a large Hadron Collider. They took them to Switzerland.
Basically.
The Eldrazi are trapped in the Alps.
And to get part of his power back, Nicol Bolas wants to release the Eldrazi. I don't know. Don't ask. And then so he found out about the Breath of Ugin, which is the colorless fire. It's invisible fire, basically. And so he forces Sarkhan, Chandra, and Jace to fight. And they found that colored fire was being absorbed. And Chandra had just recently stolen a scroll from Jace, which had the spell for invisible fire on it. Everything is going as planned, and Chandra realizes what she needs to do, uses the invisible flame, and unlocks the Eldrazi from their tomb.
Okay, so just I need to ask you then, just for my own, because I'm sure people want to know as well. How did Jace not know this was coming? Like, is Jace not constantly with a crazy mind radar, like crazy fire angry person sneaking into your house? Like, you'd notice, wouldn't you?
Because Jace, being a human, can only think 5 steps ahead or 6 steps ahead.
Okay.
But then Nicol Bolas, being an elder dragon, can think 100 or 200 steps ahead, and all the probabilities of what is going to happen here. But that being said, Nicol Bolas did take a huge gamble when he did quote unquote ask Chandra and Jace to fight with Sarkhan involved.
And that must have been some fun times for them.
Mm.
Okay, so should we move on to Garruk? Have we got Garruk here?
Yes,
Here
indeed.
So Garruk, he has his 2 forms as well. We've got the Wildspeaker and Veil Curse, but we'll do Wildspeaker first. He is the more pastely, chilled looking guy, although he's still got an epic pointy thing and axe. Man. Yeah, he's a serious chap.
Ripped.
But he just looks much more angry, like he's just going ah, and the other one where he's Veil Cursed. So yes, so Wildspeaker Garruk, for whom revering nature means being a predator. Garruk Wildspeaker is a planeswalker who wields green magic. His speciality is creature magic, spells that coax the abundant mana from the land, summon wild beasts, and unleash the ferocity of power of his summoned creatures. Garruk is a hunter to the core, a planeswalking predator whose hunting grounds is the entire multiverse. Gripped with the need to test his might and resolve against the greater and greater challenges, his life's calling has become an endless hunt for the most ferocious and dangerous game that each plane can offer. So far, Garruk's his travels have brought him experiences and trials he could never even imagined, and dangers he's faced to force his abilities into druidism and creature summoning far past their prior limits, and each day his collection of trophies grows. But recently he's faced a new kind of prey, a fellow planeswalker. This new territory for Garruk, never before has a quarry been so crafty, resourceful, or so elusive. Garruk's true hunt has begun. So before we get on to Velcast, is there anything you want to say about the, basically, he is the personification of the predatory hunting of part of nature.
Fatties that you drop on turn 6 and just stomp all over everything. His Planeswalker spark actually ignited when he was really young. He was raised on a farm with his father, and the township that was nearby was run by some corrupt dudes. They weren't very nice, corrupt dudes, and they came asking for tithes and taxes that they didn't have any way of paying, so his father sent him off into the forest. By this point, Garruk already had realized that he was at least a semi-decent green mage. He could make plants grow quickly and whatnot. Pardon. And there he discovered that he could befriend creatures really easily. And at some point during his stay out in that forest, his spark ignited, and he forged a mask, the mask that you see him wear in his art, from something similar that his father gave to him. 6 years later or something, he came back to the farm and, like a big green fatty, stomped all over everything. And then he swiftly planeswalked out. It's like, see ya, I'll catch you. And started, traveling around finding other big green fatties to companion with.
Awesome. So he's very Dr. Dolittle. He's like an 8-foot tall, predatory Dr. Dolittle, essentially.
Huge, ripped Dr. Dolittle. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And you say he trampled his own family?
Not his family.
His home.
Not nice corrupt dudes had moved in, and he's like, nah, screw you guys.
Okay.
And killed them.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Good time. So then he becomes Garruk the Veil Cursed, who is clearly much more darker, much more moody, much more angry, a little bit more cleavage. I don't know why there is more cleavage, more evil. We'll see what happens when we get to Liliana, but
well played.
Thank you. So Garruk Wildspeaker was the Planeswalker, and he also started to did all his green stuff, which was all fun, and released the ferocity of stuff. But since being cursed with the Chain Veil, which is a powerful spell curse put on him by Liliana Vess, his spells have been tainted by black, so he's actually green and black now. And he's also been a skilled hunter, but he's now been plane spanning on his hungry quest to hunt the most powerful creatures. And now he's after his fellow Planeswalker, the Death Witch, Liliana Vess. And after their last meeting, Liliana used the power of the Chain Veil artifact to curse Garruk, corrupting his power to some wild beast. As the curse takes hold and Garruk's fierce predatory companions become sickly fiends, and he's finding he's getting new chilling powers of death that only enrage him more. You need to calm down a bit, mate. Liliana still carries the shadowy Chain Veil, and Garruk won't stop him until he's cursed of is cured of his intolerable death-tainted state. If he can survive the curse, Garruk will employ his hunter's instincts to track Liliana on the world of Innistrad in hopes of confronting her. So he's not a happy chap, but he was doing his Doolittle thing, and he was like, "Yay, Bambi came to help me!" Like, that's awesome. I know it's more like big fatty worm things from like horrible stuff,
giant hydras,
and slime moldy things, all that type of good stuff. But how do you think the ability to summon crazy zombie Bambi, the ability to summon Bambi's mum, would be pretty cool.
feel no pain, I believe it's called. Feel no pain. Roll 6+, and you survive.
Exactly.
All good.
Welcome to Lorekeepers, where we're talking Magic the Gathering 40k. But essentially, they zombified him. No, green and black is Nurgle all day long. That's so true.
Oh yeah. Well, it says his predator companions become sickly fiends, so that's very Nurgle. You bite something and it gets an uncurable rot.
This is very
Grandfather's
true.
gift. Grandfather's gift.
So is there anything before we get on to Liliana herself you want to talk about the Veil Curse chat? Or you're good to get on to Lily?
Garruk was angry before he was cursed with the Veil. He's angry with the Veil Curse. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, fair enough. And just green and angry go together quite well. Essentially. Big Lily style, that's what we're doing. So here she is. Liliana Vess, the beautiful necromancer with a dark debt to repay. So Liliana Vess is the planeswalker who wields black magic. Her speciality is necromancy, spells that reanimate the dead, corrupt the living, and unlock the powers of death. Beautiful, cunning, ambitious to a fault, Liliana Vess is quietly one of Multiverse's most magnetic dangers. magnetic. That's very odd wording. Liliana's dark charisma is undeniable. She's agelessly striking and sharp as the edge of a razor. Liliana Vess is most formative experience was her pact with the demonic forces. As Liliana faced the limits of her human lifespan, her health and powers were waning. She contacted powerful demon lords, and one dark deal later, she was restored to a height of power and beauty. Today, she appears to be in her 20s, although she's over a century old. Liliana's ambitions have led her to interact with beings from all over the multiverse, but ultimately Liliana Vess' first love is Liliana Vess. So she is big Lily styling on herself. She's convinced that everyone is in it for themselves, just as she is, and that she's just a little bit better at playing the game than everyone else. So she almost, as we were just alluding to many more things, as we always do, she's kind of got a bit of a Cersei from Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, except she doesn't have a bastard. Except it's her son.
Or a twin.
Yeah, that too.
To talk to me about these demons. That's what I particularly get.
Okay.
Do you like...
The last line that she's convinced that everyone's in it for themselves, but she's just playing a little better at the game than everyone else. Completely true. All the deals that she's made have been to... Well, so the first deal was with Califed, a demon, and get the chain veil, and with that chain veil he'll give her back her beauty, her youth, and her power. And then she made a couple more deals, like with other demons, unbeknownst to those demons, that to get her out of the previous deals, basically.
Okay.
And she did that, killed the first demon, used the powers, killed the blah blah blah, all the way down to Califed. She got the chain veil, and she had so much power and stuff that he was not aware of. When he restored her youth and beauty and gave her that power, she was, well, screw you, and killed the guy, demon. And so yeah, I think there's a few deals that she hasn't sealed yet, well, finished, and she's running from them until she can get the upper hand on them.
She sounds amazing. Like, yeah, she's pissed off old Nature Hulk Garruk, but like, just awesome. So like, yeah, I'm getting a bit old and a bit weak now. Oh, call up the demons. Yeah. Oh, good. Chain veil sounds good to me. And then you call up the next demon. Be like, yeah. Oh, keep me young and powerful. Sounds good to me. And then just starts blapping them out and closing her loops, if you will. Like, more allusions to more and more things. She likes to close her loops.
The way that Liliana and Garruk have their interaction is they're on a plane where the chain veil was found, and she killed a creature for fun, and Garruk tried to stop her, and she's like, screw you, and shot like this dark bolt, a curse or something at him, hit him, cursed him, rest is history.
Okay. So we just talk about the chain veil briefly. Like, it's an artifact given to her by the demon. Do we like? Is it like as a physical thing? Because
it's an actual physical.
Essentially, just augmenting her power. So like,
let's pull up the wiki page on it now.
Okie dokie. But yeah, I'm just sort of thinking out loud here, just with the fact like she didn't necessarily intentionally make Garruk even black. Like, she just fired a black bolt at him, and with the
she might have. I think maybe, I don't know. It's apparently an ancient, powerful artifact that the necromancer Liliana Vess retrieved from some ancient catacombs, as instructed by the demon Copperfed. Wearing over her face, she was able to enhance her power, kill Copperfed and Grizzlebrand, and curse Garruk Wildspeaker. However, as Vale took hold of her, she seemed to become possessed by his eldritch spirits. So she's not completely in control of her powers.
Okay, so she might not be as clever and evil as she seems, but she is that clever and evil, partly influenced by
to get to that point.
Because power corrupts and naughty power corrupts naughtily, essentially. Like, it's the general rule of everything. And hey, just don't become a spawn. It's the general rule of thumb. So yeah, so that's and again, quite a lot of cleavage. there's definitely some leg and some suspender with the full top hit. Like that like if we're going on the amount of body parts being shown, she's fairly evil. But yeah, so also, so for somebody supposed to look about 20, I think she looks more about 30, but I maybe wouldn't say that to her face. And she is well over that. So after Liliana, we have got Tezzeret. Tezzeret and Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. So yeah, so Tezzeret, who with his awesomely cool looking arm and shoulder thing going on there, before it goes all red and nasty. He was a talented artificer, obsessed with the secrets of the Ethereum. He was blue magic, and his speciality is artifice spells that forge artifacts, manipulate artifacts, and bring artifacts to life. Tezzeret was a talented artificer from the Alara Shard of Esper. The Shard of Alara Esper that make it read so much better. Like all Esperites, he's part of his body enhanced by magical alloy Ethereum, which is the cool thing going on with his arm there. Part of the overarching planar venture to cause perfection in the body and mind. This kind of sounds almost Phyrexian in a weird way.
Yeah. Similar colours.
Indeed, cinema also augmentation. And also, we're moving towards Bolas as well.
Just pointing that out, the similar colours, similar direction of thought, similar augmentations.
Good times. So Tezzeret became an initiate in the mage sect called Seekers of Karmot, in order to gain access to the Codex Ethereum, a sacred tome that the sect claims to have in its possession. When he intruded in the sanctum of the Seekers, he uncovered truths that others didn't want to find, and he found himself trapped in a conspiracy much larger than himself. Again with the conspiracies, and god damn it, Nicol Bolas. So then Tezzeret becomes Agent of Bolas, mortally wounded, and there he is looking a bit more evil and funky. They are the greatest eyebrows or war paint I've ever seen. I want them to be eyebrows. I really do.
I want them to be eyebrows too. That'd be sick.
They would be sick. Ming the Merciless got nothing on that. So, mortally wounded by the guards of the Codex Ethereum on the Shard of Alara called Esper, Tezzeret's spark ignited, hurling his battered body through the blind eternities to Grixis, where he lay dying. But he was revived with a scheming dragon, Nicol Bolas. Tezzeret was forced to accept his servitude in exchange for his life. Bolas allowed Tezzeret to believe he had seized control of part of his network, a cabal known as the Infinite Consortium. And on the plane of Ravnica, from which Tezzeret led the consortium, he recruited fellow Planeswalkers Jace, hoping to get him as a powerful ally. But Jace had other ideas, defeating Tezzeret in combat and erasing his mind almost completely. Cheers, Jace. Bolas retrieved his servant of body through the Aether and rebuilt him for a new sinister task of good times. And later, Bolas sent Tezzeret to the plane of Mirrodin to observe the growth of Phyrexia, report on its progress, and prevent leadership from taking a hold. Tezzeret used his wit guile and established himself within the Phyrexian hierarchy. As always, he watched for an opportunity to gain power and turn the situation to his advantage. So yeah, he's just. Stop it! Nicol! Just Nicol, Slirt Slinger, Dragon Slinger, can you just stop it?
So I think Jace was already a Planeswalker at the point when he was recruited into the consortium. I'm not sure, it's not explained. Tezzeret grew up as a street rat, which would explain how he gets around and stuff a lot of the time. And he was only accepted into the Seekers of Karmot because he was super smart. And he was just willing to do the things.
The
Seekers of Karmot, the Seekers of Karmot are racist, and they only allowed Veldalken, big blue dudes, to become more than an initiate, basically.
Oh well, that's all good. Can't have everyone being nice to each other. It'd be far too dull. But so yeah, and he's so Street Rat. He's the Aladdin sort of shaman.
Evil Aladdin.
Evil Aladdin. And with his name Tezzeret, having Bolas having Tezzeret, like more and more like Zitch as we get along.
It's scary.
So yeah, and also just as Vendigamar said when we're talking about Bolas bringing him back after having been wiped out by
Lucius the Eternal.
Yeah, very Lucius the Eternal. But also as Vendigamar said, we can rebuild him, we have the mana. I'm just liking that. And now I just want to start singing Evil Aladdin, as Vendigamar has just said as well. I can show you the plains, wandering shards of Alara. That's enough from me. Anything more about Tezzeret before we get mad with Sarkhan?
Nah, there's nothing else to really say about him.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
He's just a dude that does artifact things. He's a tame Urza.
Okay.
Yeah.
A poor man's slave Urza, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So, that's not Sarkhan. Oh, my apologies. Right, what's good? There we go. There's Sarkhan. We have Sarkhan Vol, looking with his shamany good stuff, and then Sarkhan the Mad.
That's Sorin. Yeah, you had Sorin Lord of Innistrad up for a second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. I actually put him up a little bit too early.
That's all right.
So yeah, and the one that's more white of him with his hand looking more like he's trying to squeeze your heart, like the guy from Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
is him a bit
Chalimar.
more mad.
Cover your heart in me.
Calamari. Sounds like he's just trying to order. What's it called?
Squid.
Yeah, sounds like he's just trying to order squid. Give me some squid. Oh my word. Vendigamar, I'm so glad you're with us today. You are making me giggle. So, Sarkhan Vol. It's a wild shaman who reveres the ferocity of dragons. Well, already sounds like a dick. Sarkhan Vol is before we get any further, Sarkhan Vol is a planeswalker who can wield both red and green magic. His speciality is draconic shamanism, spells that summon dragons and evoke the rage and passion of dragonkind. Sarkhan Vol comes from the plane where territorial warlords vie against each other in an unending brutal war. Kind of like the great Jagati Karn, maybe. On this plane, dragons have long since hunted to extinction for sport and glory, and Sarkhan belongs to a shamanic circle that venerated the dragon and his ultimate apex predator and the purest expression of consuming urge of all life. During a deep shamanic trance, Sarkhan had a vision of the ancient dragon spirit, and during this transcendental moment that his planeswalker spark ignited, on the realization of the other planes of existence beyond his own, he got quite excited and began to quest to understand the dragon spirit, to find a new plane where he could look a dragon in the eye. Again, dick. Who wants to look a dragon in the eye? Read the next part. Okay, sorry. After many years of searching the plains, he found Jund, a world tyrannized by dragons, and knew he found his prize. Tyrannized is not a good... Like, if the brochure says this place is tyrannized by dragons, don't go there. It is here Sarkhan seeks the exemplar of dragonhood, the ultimate expression of pretty perfection, worthy of his worship. Nico, where is your Bolas?
Yeah, just before you continue, $50 and 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count on who this dragon is.
Puff.
No.
Okay. Oh, is it that green one that the orc used to ride in Fantasy Warhammer? No.
I don't have Fantasy Warhammer.
Is it? Could it be Drogon? Is it one of Macia's?
No.
No. Nicol Shirtswinger? Or am I getting closer?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes, the Pussycat Dragons.
Yes.
So, Nico bloody Bolas again, then.
Yep.
Good time. So do you want to say anything about Sarkhan before he goes mad, or should we get his madness on the table and discuss him?
You've pretty much covered it. You're an idiot and giant and crazy for wanting to look a dragon in the eye. Why? That's just
Although, as a child, there was a wonderful kids TV show called Through the Dragon's Eye, and it was about kids travelling to the land of Palomar through a mural in their playground, and there was a nice dragon there, but tyrannical. Just if the brochure says tyrannical dragons, probably not the place to go.
Yeah, that's smart.
It's not, yeah. Dragon dicks and Sarkhan file. So Sarkhan the Mad, servitude to the ruthless planeswalker Nicol Bolas. Oh, what a surprise! Has taken its toll on the sanity of Sarkhan file. Sarkhan has searched the multiverse for dragons, ferocious, and all that stuff, but sworn ultimate fealty to Bolas, and the consequences of Sarkhan's decision to be a dick have weighed heavily on his soul. Sad times for him. As he planeswalks through the multiverse, keeping tabs on other planeswalkers and doing other obscure errands for his new master, voices of doubt plague his mind. As rightly they should. Sarkhan's latest mission was to guard the Eye of Ugin, an ancient subterranean chamber connected to the fate of the Eldrazi, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, where Sarkhan heard the haunting whispers of Zendikar's past. Now, due to the ancient actions of rival planeswalkers, the Eldrazi have been unleashed, and Sarkhan must answer for the apparent failure in the Eye. Nicol Bolas is unlikely to be a forgiving master, so he just done goofed a lot. Like,
yep.
I live here. I want to find a dragon, so I go find a dragon. Oh, he's a bit of a dick, but I'll do what he says anyway. And then I do what he says. Oh, can't do it. I failed. Oh dear.
Oh, I can't. I feel bad for being a bad person. I wonder why that is.
What's this pang in my chest? What's this feeling in my chest? I feel awful. Oh. Carry on being evil. I'm sure it'll all work out. It'll be fine. We're nearly at the end of the Planeswalkers. We may end up just doing Planeswalkers today because we are 50 minutes already.
That's fine with me.
So we're the last two that we're going to talk about today. So let's get rid of Sarkhan full. See you later. And we have Karn, not to be confused with the wrath thereof.
Karn! Karn!
He tasks me, and I shall have him.
My acting's almost as good as Shatner's as well.
Indeed. So here's Karn, the silver golem who can wield all 5 colours of magic, created to endure time travel and serve as the key to the legacy. Like, he is the ultimate, but, like, is he as ultimate as he seems? Essentially, he's just a silver golem given one of the shards from Urza, and to be part of the whole epic plan.
No, his spark was Urza's, but his heartstone was a Phyrexian heartstone given to him by one of Urza's companions through the years. Okay. Xantlia.
Is the Heartstone having a big... It's the spark from Urza that makes him more unique than the golem thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome scene. So he got all 5 colours and he's epic, and he did all the stuff, and he's part of the whole legacy, and with Gerard, which is just I still find it really amusing when, like, footballers' names turn up in Magic the Gathering. Because I just imagine it's Steven Gerrard! We need to get the weather light out to take out Yawgmoth! You know what I'm saying? So the ship fired its devastating blast of white mana, destroying Phyrexia's god Yawgmoth and the father machines. And at that moment, at the culmination of what we talked about last week, is when Karn became a planeswalker, inheriting the planeswalker spark from his creator. He later created his own plane, a metal world called Argatum. They love the metal worlds. Like, how many metal worlds are there out there?
Mirrodin, Phyrexia, Argentum.
It's a good few.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Well, yeah, there aren't that many normally, so that's still a fair few. So he created Argentum, when he brought the Planeswalker Jessica to see his plane, he introduced a contagion from Dominaria to his world, a Phyrexian substance which, as a Planeswalker, he was immune to and unaware, but as Karn explored the multiverse, the Phyrexian contagion took hold, reshaping the plane and corrupting the mind of the warden that Karn had left to watch over his creation. Even when Karn returned to Argentum, now called Mirrodin. Oh, okay. There we go. It all makes sense now, and set things right with the words have just the contagion continued its quiet work even when he tried to stop it. During Dominaria's temporal crisis, Karn was called on by his friends Johora and the Planeswalker Tezzeret we mentioned earlier, both of whom were once students of Tellaria. Together with a new ally Venser, they worked to prevent time itself from collapsing, which is always fairly important, by finding those who were willing to surrender their Planeswalker sparks to heal the temporal damage. Karn accepted the task of healing the greatest of these time rifts, the one that helped to create Tellaria, and although he succeeded, at the moment he became aware of and susceptible to the contagion he carried. Oh, sad times for him. In the last moments as a Planeswalker, he held himself with the Multiverse to Mirrodin, instructing his friends not to follow. His mind addled and broken by the Phyrexian contagion, Karl found himself inside Mirrodin amid a fully fledged Phyrexian ecosystem. The contagion caused Mirrodin to grow tendrils into the plane's core of raw mana, vastly accelerating the Phyrexian metastasis, and Karn was held as the new father of machines by the new Phyrexians. Koth, the native of Mirrodin, sought allies to help him save the world, and he recruited Elspeth Tyrrell as well as Karn's Dominarian friend Venser. When the trio arrived at Mirrodin, they were forced to acknowledge that the world had been poisoned beyond saving, and in the end Venser sacrificed himself to transfer to Karn his Planeswalker Spark, as well as the immunity to the contagion, in the hopes Karn could prevent the corruption from taking hold in other worlds. Grief-stricken by the fate of the world and the death of his friend, Karn set the multiverse again, retracting his steps to find the Phyrexian oil and render it inert. Sad times for the chap.
Yeah. Karn actually, at one point, took up a vow of non-violence, because he was created by Urza to go back in time and stop the Phyrexian invasion on Tellaria.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he went back, he was unable to stop the Phyrexian invasion. And one time he got sent back even further, and that's what caused the time machine to explode and create all the rifts throughout Dominaria.
Okay, so he was doing good trying to close them, but he had actually caused them himself as well.
Yes, yeah. And then he kept on seeing like friends of his getting killed, and he felt it was his fault, so he took up a vow of non-violence. Then on Wrath, some stuff happened, and like he broke it. And then I guess when
you got through that without a Wrath of Karn joke. How did you get? How did you mention Karn on Wrath?
I feel ashamed. I feel as like a bit of nerdiness has left my body.
It'll be fine. We're doing a fairly nerdy thing here.
When Venser sacrificed himself, you know, that'd be pretty big for Karn as well.
Yeah. Venser is fucked.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Did Venser say the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
Probably. Actually, I think that might have been actually been said in the comic.
That's amazing.
I'm actually fairly sure it was. Yeah, so Phyrexia moved from Phyrexia to Mirrodin, now known as New Phyrexia. It's because of Karn. There's like one drop of glistening oil on Karn's Heartstone, Karn's heart, which was Sansa's Heartstone, and that like corrupted the entire plane.
So yeah, take Vulnerable Mars advice and always wash your hands before you planeswalk. Otherwise, you come back and it'll be hell.
Yes.
You should remember that. Like he's got he's got no pockets. That's the problem with being a silver golem. Where are you going to put the hand sanitizer?
Just like because he's a silver golem, you need to like build it into his arm. Just like spray a fine mist over his hands.
Yeah. Or also, being a silver golem, he could just jump in some like lava or something. Just really.
No, that'd melt him.
Oh, would it melt him? Okay.
Acid would be fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. So yeah, Karn. He's epic. Anything more about Karn? Before Vundagmar tries to bleach him.
Nah, not really.
Okay. So the last one, and we tried to show him earlier, but we'll do it appropriately now. Here he is, Sorin Markov, an ancient vampire who holds the secret to Zendikar's bizarre, fierce ecology, and maybe even the reason why Zendikar has the full, beautiful, full art lands. But we'll have to ask him. Sorin Markov is a vampire and a master of sangromancy. Ooh, blood magic, a dark corner of black mana specialization. With this blood magic, he can drain the life force of other beings, place curses on enemies, and even possess the minds of others. With the exception of the elder dragon, Nicol Bolas, the vampire Sorin Markov is older than any of the other Planeswalkers described in this episode, and older than them all combined. So he is one old chap. His multiple millennia have brought about detachment and easy confidence. Unlike Bolas, Sorin doesn't concern himself with gathering power or control. He's content to follow his own whims, even when those whims are cruel or deadly, which is always fun. Sorin is well-travelled and well-heeled, having seen hundreds of planes over thousands of years. He has become a sort of bon vivant, if you will, looking for new novelty and new diversions. But despite his fundamentally hedonistic nature, Sorin does feel the pull of more lasting concerns, and over his long life this tendency has resulted in an arcane study on the engagements and forays of far-flung planes. As a result, Sorin is a very busy man, planeswalking frequently to pursue concerns known only to him. Sorin always seems to have business elsewhere, or maybe he just didn't want to hang out with the person who made these notes. One such commitment involves the plane of Zendikar. Long ago, Sorin cooperated with two other planeswalkers to complete a ritual that would alter Zendikar forever. The three agreed that if the results of the ritual were ever to be disturbed, all three of them would return to Zendikar. And although Sorin has held up his end of the agreement, he now finds himself alone on the plane with no sign of his former cohorts. For now, he must keep the nature of their work to himself, lest he endanger himself or the plane any more. So yeah, he's a crazy Dracula vampire, whimsical Emperor's Children, Slaneshi, but yeah. He's essentially what's his name? Fabius Bile, the vampiric. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. As Van did say, he did create Avacyn, the angel of Innistrad.
So what? How? Who? Like?
Right. So
she's lovely.
Thousands of years ago, Edgar Markov was an alchemist, found in the land that would become Stensia, which is part of Innistrad.
Pictures of Innistrad.
Forced him into experiments, and basically created Sorin, who became the first vampire, and that ignited Sorin's spark, and that also created a few more vampires, and that spread. And you know, Sorin was like, "Nah, screw these guys." He still feels allegiance to humans, so he creates Avacyn to give power to humans.
Quite literally, power to the people.
Yes, quite literally, power to the people. And so that was before he imprisoned the Eldrazi, who, with Ugin and an unnamed Lithomancer, imprisoned them on Zendikar.
Lithomancy?
Lithomancy is rock, stone,
okay, cool.
earth. Is it Lithomancy? I think Lithomancer is crystals, gems, and stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of pressure.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Sorin was very integral in the sealing of Eldrazi. Them ones.
Okay. And we're going to get fully into the Eldrazi a bit more next time, you say.
Yeah. Oh, or another show.
Yeah, sorry. Next time he comes around to one of these shows.
Yeah.
So he's hedonistic and does his own thing, but he also felt loyal to humans, so he built an angel, basically.
Yeah. Well, in order for from his world-hopping perspectives, he could see the changes on his homeworld. As the vampires gained more and more power, the humans were being driven further and further back, suffering under the boots of his grandfather's legacy. It would only be a matter of time before the vampires wiped out their former kin.
Okay.
Sorry. In order for humanity to survive and keep vampires from cannibalizing each other once humanity perished, Sorin committed something that forever marked him as a traitor to his race. Borrowing from long-held beliefs about the moon and the afterlife, Sorin forged a warrior who could hold back the vampires and other threats that threatened the extinction of humanity on Innistrad. He named his creation Avacyn and tasked the angel with protecting the plane in his absence. Through her, the magic of faith would create true power to fend off the darkness. So the church was born from Sorin's act, and while some of the vampires understood, most reviled him as a traitor.
So, and in all big sort of fantasy type things and all these types of stories, it's all about creating balance and stasis, essentially. So
yes,
like the vampires were all black and red and scary and doing their stuff, and we were like, well, we need some good old white stuff to save the day, essentially.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It's about bringing balance, and it's reflected in the block, the Innistrad block. Because I think the first one was Dark Ascension. Yes.
Yeah, Dark Ascension.
Dark Ascension was very vampire heavy, I believe.
Very vampire heavy.
And
like, just whip your ass with some of those vampires.
And then it was as we went into Dark Ascension as humanity's belief in Avacyn waned. So vampires gained power. And then the second block was a lot of werewolves, so a similar idea. So, sorry, through Dark Ascension, the humanity's favored. So in the second block, the Innistrad.
So in Innistrad, Dark Ascension, then a vacuum restored, I think. But Vidomar saying Dark Ascension, Innistrad, a vacuum restored.
Yeah, whatever. The first one was about it fading. The second one was about it's faded and here's all the big bad beasties. And third one was look at us, humanity. We've got our faith and we need faith in Avacyn to stop us dying out as a race. Avacyn comes back. Everything's fine and dandy again.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's something I think it would be good for like an entire episode one day. We talk about the whole. If we maybe get into Innistrad and just the goings on, because the fact that he created Avacyn was news to me, and I've got my full-on white angel deck sitting there looking at me, so I feel quite ashamed to not realise that. And also because I've got the Hellvolt in there as well somewhere, and like I'm just like. And like, when did she get put in there? So we should do all that good stuff at some point as well.
Yeah.
So we're now 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah, we'll be going for 1 minute, 1 hour and 8 minutes, just with Planeswalkers. So should we save planes for another time?
Yes, because it's 3 a.m. and I would like to get some sleep tonight.
That does sound like a plan, because we could be here for another while. We're doing those. So. This was Lorekeepers, episode 5, I believe. So, another Magic Gathering one. Because this first month of Lorekeepers has been a bit odd, essentially, next week is going to be Fantasy, and then we'll be back to 40k, and then RPG. But I'll be posting them all up on DiceTube and let you know where people are at the beginning of the week. But there's always Lorekeepers every week, and every month for the foreseeable future, we're going to be talking Magic. So tune in this week, next month, and you'll be Sean and I will be here to do more stuff. I mean, so Eldrazi, you're thinking?
Yes, Eldrazi after the planes.
Yeah, so we do a big Planes Ravnica episode, then we'll go to Eldrazi. Sounds good to me. So awesome things. Thank you for joining me again, and it's been awesome. And thank you for Vinegamar for getting so involved in chat and being like. We had one person watching, I think, but he has been epic and just enough for a full for a full chat room.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 4 thumbs up. Well, there we are. Wiggly thumbs. So I'm about to do the spiel. Dice Troop, we are a non-profit thing. We do all of this for fun, and we are just a bunch of geeks that do this for fun, and we continue to do this for fun, but doing all this stuff does also cost us as well. So there we do have the donate thing on the Tumblr page, and the Tumblr page is dicetroop.tumblr.com, and some people have already donated, and anyone that does or has, we love you and you're amazing, and that's wonderful. So awesome for that. And we're going to continue doing these Lorekeepers every week, and please do let us know on dicetroop.tumblr or me at darthsebius.com if there's anything you particularly want to see talked about, or if you want to come on and talk about something, because we can arrange that for some point in the future if you wanted to do that. So yeah, I'm going to bring it to a close. So it's goodbye from me, and
goodbye from me.
Awesome. No one ever responds appropriately, and you did, so thank you so much. And we shall see you guys another day. Tatty bye.